Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back, people, to another episode of Reasoning Time, Jason Gooner TV. It's a special edition tonight, people. You know, the squad dropped earlier today. The press conference happened. We have the footage. We have it. So we're going to watch the press conference, people, react to it in real time. And also, we're going to definitely discuss the squad itself. Look at some places that maybe we agree with. I'm sure there'll be some people that disagree with some of the selections as well. We're just going to analyze it in full, see if the coach has made the proper decisions, people, from our point of view, right? Obviously, football is a subjective game, so we're not saying we're right, but we do follow the football enough to know that we have a pretty informed opinion on some of the things, right? So we're going to have the discussion, people. Hopefully you guys share the word, let people know we're doing a show that's not hours of morning, right? Because you know Jason Guna is the late night special. But tonight, because I have to do my EPL content in the late night, so let's jump on a little earlier so we can get the discussion going on the Reggae Boyz squad, people. So pretty soon we're gonna throw the squad on the screen, have the discussion. But first, as I said, I want to just go through the press conference together, real time. I'll see the comments coming in. We can chop it up, talk about it, discuss it, have the conversation. I thought that, yeah, I don't want to say too much on the press conference till we watch it. Of course, I was able to be there for most of it. I had to leave a little bit after I got a chance to ask a couple of questions. So I will be listening to some of this for the first time for real. So it's a live reaction. I was there up until basically when I asked my question, then I had to jump off the stream, or the Zoom, excuse me. So that happened today, people. So those of you who haven't seen it yet, you'll get a chance to see it. Of course, we'd love to get the comments of the subscribers, the fans, the other YouTubers as well, because we watch each other's content from time to time just to see what they're thinking about things, right? So we're gonna have the discussion, people. Big up yourself, Drew Ross, in the building from early, letting everybody know for like, share, and subscribe. Drew, there's something missing right now with your comment, So we're gonna sort that out. We're gonna sort that out. And don't take this lightly, Drew. This is happening because I know that you really and truly are one of the proponents of sharing the content, you know what I'm saying? And just always supporting the thing. You might not always be here in the flesh, but whenever you see it on, you know that Drew Ross can drop a like, share, subscribe, and tell the folks. So that is really one of the roles of a moderator. Another one, of course, is to, let people know when I'm going too far. Sometimes I am just reading comments, making my thoughts. I don't see all those things. So it's good to have somebody that can do that. So Drew, don't take it light, bro. There's literally no other moderators on the channel besides I think like my family members. That's it. So yeah, hey, it is what it is. Drew Ross is a moderator. So yeah. Bless up, float management. Big up yourself, bro. You don't know the EPL content will happen later. We'll put away the Jamaica jersey, hang it back up nice and clean, and then we'll drop on the Arsenal kit for the EPL show. But that's later. Yeah, man. It's a real thing. It's a real thing, Drew. It don't even look right when you're commenting, because I'm no moderator, I know the thing already. Bless up to the top analyst in the space, yo, Nitro. Don't say it too loud, People are gonna say, yo, yeah, talk about and da. But it's all right, bro. I'll take my flowers, Thank you very much, sir. I never said I was, but I just put in the work, and Nitro has his opinion, people. Yeah, man, bless up, bro. All right, so it's Friday. I hope everybody had a good week. Everybody feeling good about the weekend. Daughter have match tomorrow night. Another thing about my daughter today. So she's in a program in her gifted school that she goes to once a week, and they have a thing they have a thing called they have a thing called Odyssey of the Mind, and basically they pick some students to be on the team, and they basically do like problem solving in the form of like a skit or with a scripted play, like a short play basically. And they also have problem solving to do as well, whether it's practical, hands-on. It's basically something they get scored on and everything. So anyway, they made it to the state competition, which is going to be held in Columbus, Georgia. So they interviewed their team today on the NBC affiliate here where I live in Georgia. And yo, bro, I'm proud to tell, bro. I'm there, I watch it, and your daughter that on TV, I get interviewed. Then when she get her chance for talk, no, just the way how she sound, and yo, bro, I tell you the truth, yo, I tell you, life is a blessing, people, and if you have your family and thing, just know, say, just cherish all them moments, because one day it not gonna be like that. You know what I mean? People grow and they have their own family, and so this time right now I have the family right here, all of it. Yeah, but I'm glad that I'm able to understand the importance of like getting these moments in with the family, So people, sorry, I just went off on a tangent about my daughter, but I'm just proud of how she carry herself today, But I wouldn't expect nothing less still, to be honest. Wouldn't expect nothing less. Jamrock, big up yourself, Yeah, man. Big up to the One Umbrella Sports family. Yeah. Definitely a hardworking person running that organization, But anyway, let's get right into it, people. We're not wasting time because we want to have the discussion. We're going to have a 2-hour show, more than likely, people. So everybody just get ready. I will open either some calling, or if people want to join and have a say in the discussion, we will have that. You know what I mean? Have all right to be man, our kids should be our everything. Yes, true, very true words, Drew. But you don't know. Yeah, no, very true words. There's no rebuttal to that. That is just so true. I should never apologize for bigging up anything that my children are up to, their accomplishments, even their failures, if that be the case. But luckily for myself and my wife, the failures have been few and far between, and it's been nothing but successes. So we're just thankful, we're just thankful that they are following very good paths right now, both of my kids. I think Gabriel has been on TV as well, So yeah, my daughter's 2 stars in the making, One's gonna be on the big screen. Well, both are gonna be on the big screen, but one's gonna be on the big field, and one gonna be on the big screen. Yeah, mark my words, doing something. So yeah, that is it, people. Kids Corner, let you guys know what's going on. Julie was on TV today, and Gabby will be on TV probably tomorrow because she's that amazing too. But Julie have match tomorrow night, so yeah, that should be nice. Under the lights, yeah, man. First game I got ever watch my daughter play under lights, I think. It's always been a day match. So yeah, that should be interesting. Even though time gone forward, so maybe not even dark yet, I never pre that. But they are talking about night match. It might not even be night, people. 6:30. Sun go down, but no, say lights probably not even turn on star. Either way, still excited. League match. One game play for the league so far, and they win 3 love. So hopefully them can get the next 3 points. 3 points. Yeah, man, respect float. But I determine to them for sure. To them, to my kids, me are number 1, but we don't know. People out there might have them father as number 1, which is fine. As long as my kids know, say me a number 1 daddy, Yeah, which I think they would. If they came on right now, they would say that because it's the truth. Daddy there for them. All right, let me see now. Okay, good. All right, so I'll have it queue up, people, and we'll get the files, people. So it's not really a problem for us to put it on the screen. Say, yeah, exactly. Say the same, exactly. Sebastian, blessings, my brother. Blessings. Respect, bro. And big up to RR as well. Big up to everybody in the building. Remember to like, share, and subscribe with up on YouTube, people. That is really the only thing we really ask for. Please do like, share, and subscribe the content. What I'm going to do now, as I said, I'm going to just go ahead and play the press conference for anybody who hasn't seen it. I like to get the reaction of everyone while we watch it as well. So let me get that going on the screen. I'll probably need to also make sure that yes, I need to keep that on. Okay. And you guys let me know how it's sounding as well, if you could. There goes the coach.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for being here. It's the squad announcement press conference for the upcoming
Thumbs up in the comments if the sound is good.
Grenadines, March 21 at the Arnesville Stadium in St. Vincent and March 25 at Sabina Park in Kingston, Jamaica. We're joined with the head coach of the Jamaica Senior Men's National Team, Coach Steve McLaren. Before our coach gets into some opening remarks, we're going to show on the screen quite briefly the squad, and then Coach McLaren will get into some opening remarks. After Coach McLaren's opening remarks, we'll put the squad back up on the screen, and then we'll go into the question and answer segment. So just to run through the names for everybody: goalkeepers, Shaquan Davis, Andre Blake, Jamali Waite; defenders, Richard King, Ethan Pinnock, Kyle Ming, Christopher Ainsworth, Dexter Lembekisa, Amari Bell, Joel Latibaudiere, Fitzroy Cummings; midfielders, Isaac Hayden, Joshawn Anglin, Bobby Reid, Sule McCullough, Casey Palmer, and Tyreek McGee; and the forwards, Leon Bailey, Demarai Gray, Shamar Nicholson, Kaheem Dixon, Ronaldo Cephas, and Warren Brown. We now turn over to Coach McLaren, who will get into some opening remarks. Coach, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning, everybody, and welcome. I've got to say this morning, I woke up quite buoyed after last night. A great night at the National Stadium. Cavaliers against Inter Miami, and what it was to see
Bless
the
up
stadium,
Chile.
Full house. I know we nearly got it against the USA, but to see a full house, that's the goal. I said to everybody, all the staff, everybody I spoke to this morning, that's the goal, to fill the stadium. So it was great to see. What a great game. Spirited, I thought, performance from Cavaliers. And yeah, the most important thing for, I suppose, all the supporters was to see Messi playing. Not many people get and are fortunate to see Messi live, but Jamaica saw that last night. So we appreciate that from him, because he didn't have to come. I spoke to Mascherano before the game, and yeah, he said he wanted Messi to come and to play for the Jamaican people. So that's what he did. So we thank them for that. So it was a great night and a great performance by Cavaliers. The squad, we have obviously some injuries within that squad.
Yo, me just don't want to say upon that whole Messi thing there. I totally agree, and I was telling some close friends of mine this, that in the whole build-up and everything, him not playing the first leg and everything, and him not playing the against Charlotte on the weekend, I said, look, if he travels on the plane and he comes, he's going to play in Jamaica, because he knows what it's going to be like just for him going there. He would have known that the stadium is going to be packed. He would have known people would have, made sure to be at this particular occasion. So I always knew if he wasn't injured, which this whole time he hasn't been, it's just been a workload thing going on. So, yeah, I always figured that he would play the game in Jamaica once he traveled. So the minute I heard he was traveling, I knew that Jamaicans, anybody that I knew that was going to the game or thinking about going to the game, I said, listen, you're going to regret it if you don't go, because, I know how much you love Messi, and trust me, I'm going to play. So, yeah, I thought him talking to Mascherano and Mascherano saying, listen, the whole intention was always for him to come and play for the people in Jamaica. I figured there was something like that going on the whole time. So yeah, that is that just shows the professionalism, and he knows at this stage of his career what it would mean to a country like Jamaica for him to actually play the game, not just be there and wave, but actually go in and perform in front of them. So yeah, that was a good touch, I thought. So I just wanted to make that point right there.
We have Dishon Bernard, Greg Lee, Mason Holgate, who just pulled out yesterday. He has been playing in pain with his toe, and the club want to operate on that next week. They need him to play Saturday, so we'll have an injection and then an operation to remove a blackened toenail next week. So he's not eligible for up.
John Ostar, man, I tell you about the toenail thing. But good point, RR Adidas. That link cannot be understated as well. With Jamaica being, one of the, I would say, they're doing a lot of marketing with the Jamaican link to the Football Federation currently, and with Messi being, as he said, Adidas face boy, that link can't be understated too. So good point, RR.
And as we know, Antonio is recovering remarkably well. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. Really positive, really in good form. In his rehab, he's on the treadmill, he's running, and he tells me he's going to be ready for the summer. Knowing Mikel, that could happen. So we keep our fingers crossed for that. And also Romario Williams, I spoke to last week and this week, who also has an injury. He's in pre-season. He is playing, awaiting surgery, which he needs, and so not available for this. One person, Damien Lowe, is not available. He's fit, but not available. He has personal issues, which he needs to sort out next week. So he's not available for the first leg, but we put him on standby for the second leg. So we see the outcome of that one. It's great that we can name 9 local players. And the reason for that, I think, is obviously injuries to come to the squad, but to give them opportunities. The camp we had a few weeks ago, the 2 games against Trinidad, the work for nearly 5 days with them gave me a great insight into the abilities, the characters, and I really enjoyed that camp, really enjoyed the 2 games. And from that working with them has given me confidence in which I can put them in the squad and know that they will do the job.
All right, people, I want to pause it right there. He said a few things I want to touch on. So he just mentioned there that, the 9 players that have made this squad are there. He kind of gave 2 reasons. He said one was obviously the injuries, which those names you were saying before, Deshaun Bernard, Greg Lee, Mason Holgate, Mikel Antonio, Romario Williams, and Damian Lowe, due to personal reasons, were all out due to injury or personal reasons. So that is 6 players right there that I'm guessing, because he mentioned them, would be deemed part of his squad otherwise. If they were healthy, they would have been in the team some shape or form, right? And 9 were selected. So I remember when the Trinidad games were announced, some people had the question of, what's the purpose of these games? Like, why are we really doing this? We're saying we don't really have the cash, and we're putting on 2 fixtures. Why are we doing this? And, he referenced there that part of the reason why he would have so much confidence in naming a squad with 9 local players is because of him getting to work with them up close in a training camp type setting, playing 2 games, and saying that he thought, those games were a joy, and they really showed him a lot of things about who would be able to be called upon and do the job. So, I don't think we should downplay the effect that having that camp would have had on this squad, because he's basically referencing it as a reason as to why, when so many players would have pulled out due to injury that he considers part of his squad are set up normally, what he would do next is to basically replace all of those players with players he would have seen in the camp that he just would have had playing against Trinidad. So you know, one thing that this whole thing reminds me of, these Gold Cup preliminaries, is I remember before the first World Cup window. Remember, we had the Copa America to play after, and it was pretty close, if I'm not mistaken, to the end of the actual season for a lot of the players. So it would have been maybe 2 to 3 weeks before the season would have ended, and then these World Cup qualifiers would have happened, or two to four, depending on where people play. And the talk was, due to the opposition, their ranking in FIFA, all these factors, you know, we can get by picking a more JPL centric team, or a team with more JPL players, right? And when we played those matches, you know, we were very upset that we were only able to win 1-0 in the first game at home to Dominican Republic. If I'm not mistaken, in that game, Dominican Republic got a red card as well, and we were only able to get, I think we won that game 1-0. And then we traveled to Dominica, where, you know, you would expect Jamaica to win by a pretty comfortable margin. I mean, if you're looking at the rankings, that is, right? But what happened was a 3-2 game. Now, Jamaica was leading that game, I believe 3-0 at one point, but, you know, they were able to pull back 2, and the end of that game was not very fun if you're a Jamaican fan. Not really the type of end result that I think most Jamaica fans would have thought would happen. But when you look at the makeup of that particular squad, I see some similarities to the one picked today by Coach McLaren, and I'm just wondering, are we not looking at the evidence which would tell us that we really can't take any of these opponents that lightly? You know, when you really analyze the squad that was picked then, there were more players that, you know, are playing maybe in USL Championship than, say, the Jamaica Premier League. So it was a little bit different, but I think the mindset was the same, where it was almost a thought that, okay, if we can pick, you know, 10 to 13 of our core players, really the other 10, we can kind of do a lot more experimenting with. And I think we have kind of done that a bit with this squad, but I'll see what you guys are thinking as well, and let me keep playing the clips. But that's just my thoughts on that. It's similar to me to that window before the Copa America, where a lot of players, you know, we were told at the time that, you know, some players needed a bit more time before the Copa America. And I was saying, look, it's the World Cup qualifiers. It's going to be really important to have a good goal difference. You know, that can be the difference in getting the first place, which would then make the final qualifying group that much easier in terms of the opponents. Not even easier, but, you know, you have a better chance because you're the highest seeded team in the group. But, you know, I just feel like it reminds me too much of that time. And then I remember going through those games saying, boy, no, we didn't draw the DR game. It was 1-0 to us. Remember, we had 6 points in the World Cup qualifiers, you know. Jay the DJ said, let's be honest. You have any faith with this coach? Well, honestly, it's right now, to me, it's not about faith, it's about results. So I need to see some more as far as that's concerned. But if I'm to go by some of the decisions I've seen, then yeah, it's not, I wouldn't say I have the most confidence right now, to be honest. And that's putting it mildly. Miss Melina, blessings. How you doing? Hope you're well, you know. Another day, some more content. Reggae boys today. I don't understand why we're taking chances in a World Cup year when we should be doing everything possible to give us the best chance to qualify for the World Cup. Agreed. I mean, you look around CONCACAF at all these teams, you know, all of them are fielding what looks like their strongest. And you'll hear him say it a few times in this press conference that he deems this to be the strongest available team. to get the job done in these two fixtures. So let's keep on listening.
So that's good. For the camp and the squad, I think we've enough experience in there from, Andre Blake, we have Pinnock, we have Latty, we have Amari Bell, Isaac Hayden, Palmer, Bobby Reid, welcome him back, Leon Bailey, Damari Gray, Shamar, all experienced players. And, we expect them to step up and see us through and get us into the Gold Cup. One other item concerning the staff, Richard Hartis, who was my assistant and goalkeeping coach, has, about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, moved to Besiktas in Turkey with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he's the goalkeeping coach there. But I got to say, after speaking with him, he wants to still work with Jamaica, and he's volunteered his services to come and help us qualify for the World Cup and the Gold Cup. And so he's coming in the capacity of just goalkeeping coach, which left the assistant role vacant. And I filled that with Paul Simpson, who you might have seen in the last camp for the local players. Paul, we played together. I coached him. He's been my assistant twice at Derby and Newcastle. And what he brings is unbelievable experience of actually winning a World Cup for England, under-20s World Cup in South Korea in 2017. So he knows what it takes to qualify for a World Cup, and he knows what it takes to win a World Cup. So his experience will be invaluable in helping myself, the players, the staff, and the JFF to accomplish our goal. We come up next week in this camp against St Vincent and Grenadines. What do we know about them? We've watched them for 6 games in Bonaire, Montserrat and El Salvador, twice each. So we've watched 6 games. And this is not going to be an easy game. El Salvador, they beat them at home, and they should have beat them again, but conceded a last-minute goal against. But they had 2 great games against El Salvador, and we know the team has got good attitude. They play with each other regular, so they know each other. They've got a great spirit and great attitude, and players in the front 4 who can hurt you. My first job is to make sure that we don't approach this game complacently. And we'll be certainly showing clips of St Vincent and Grenadines, the strengths and how they can hurt us. If we're not right in terms of attitude, this can be a very, very difficult game for us. Our goal is really to get the job done, to qualify for the Gold Cup. It's important we do that. Important for various reasons. To do that, keep the ranking high so we get better qualification, better seeding in groups, we hope, coming up. What I want, my final message before I take questions, it's a World Cup year. It's a big year. It's a year in which we've got a great opportunity, an opportunity not achieved since '98, of qualifying for the World Cup. And everybody has to be together. Everybody has to be together. Everybody has to work together. And what I expect is, from the top to the bottom, I expect the JFF to provide us with the tools necessary to make sure that the players and the staff and everybody get the equipment and everything that we need to be able to achieve the goal of the World Cup 26. We expect the players to show commitment, attitude and professionalism, which is the key thing, and make sure that they know this is it's a one-off opportunity to qualify for the World Cup. and the players must have that commitment, attitude, focus, and above all, sacrifice. I think it's a year of sacrifice for Jamaica, for each other, for the supporters. So everybody has to do that. The staff, to show their expertise, we need that to be available and make sure that they're supported. And ultimately, I think I come full circle. I saw a full house, 35,000 in the National Stadium last night. We had 29 against the US. We want a full house again. And we'll only achieve that if we're successful and heading towards the World Cup. So the supporters get behind the teams through thick and thin. There will be ups and downs. There will be disappointments. There will be highs. But make sure that we all stick together from top to bottom. Thank you.
All right, so that was the opening remarks. You could see the BBC guy on the shot was like rubbing his face, like, "Yo, please, when this one going to be done talking?" But he said a lot there, saying that it's going to take everybody involved, the players, the staff, the fans also being mentioned as well. So all hands on deck is the policy. That is a good, nothing wrong with that message. That's a good message. But yeah, I think the questions now is the part I really want to highlight. I want you guys to tell me if you notice anything any different in the disposition of the coach when he's answering questions in this press conference compared to some others in the past. Yeah, tell me if you notice anything like that. Big up Cranky, big up Chris Smith. I saw you roll in. Determined, I saw your comment. You've seen this movie before. It starts at the top. Yes. You notice he said that 2 times JFF need to put things in order. Yes, he did mention all facets of the JFF there, need the tools to make sure his jobs can be done, right? Yeah, so let's move into the question segment now of the press conference. I think Cranky got the first question, if I'm not mistaken. You could see him there in the queue. Well, not him, but a picture of his head popping up there on the screen. But yeah, let's get into that now, and we can discuss as well.
Thank you very much, Coach McLaren, for that. We'll now open the floor for questions from members of the media. Mr. Spence, good morning. You can go ahead.
Mr. Spence.
Please unmute, and then you
Coach, can you hear me, Coach?
I can, yeah.
Coach, I was in St. Louis for the
shining.
Jamaica versus USA game, and there seems to be a significant gulf in quality between the two teams. And as such, from where I sit, it seems we need better players. I also watched the JPL games, some games, 2 matches against Trinidad, and Cavalier recent matches against Inter Miami. Now, it appears, based on what I observed, the quality doesn't reside locally. However, we have a vast pool of eligible players in the diaspora. Yet the recruitment process seems more reactive and strategic. As such, what structured approach, if any, is in place to actively scout, track, and engage its players before they commit elsewhere? And what are you doing specifically to source these players?
Yeah, when I took the job, recruitment was probably, apart from the squad players, the players that were already playing, the next most important job was scouring Europe, America, wherever we could, for dual nationals, players who could play for Jamaica. And all we're looking for is to develop and improve the present squad, and to improve the present squad by recruitment. That recruitment process started from day one, with conversations with a host of players, England, Europe, in the USA as well. And that's ongoing. I think we spoke about this a few months ago, about what it takes to get a passport in Jamaica. And the process is very long. It's very patient wearing. And we have several players now who are very close to achieving the passport that is required for them to play for Jamaica. It's been too slow. The process hasn't been, sometimes we're flying and sometimes we're close, and then we're far away. There's a lot of things to get a passport and a lot of documents that the players have to collect, and documents from, you talk about grandparents, so 30, 40 years ago, trying to find birth certificates, etc. In the parishes in Jamaica has been very difficult. But we're on with about 5 or 6, and we're only going to recruit players who can improve the present squad and the present team. So that has always been the goal from day one. That process is ongoing. There are a lot of people, especially in the UK, who are working towards that. A lot of people over here also, Devon Porter and Ian Campbell, through Roy Simpson, are working to get the Europeans nationalised so that they can play. Our goal is to have them available for, we have 2 friendlies in the UK at the end of May, 2 World Cup qualifiers. Hopefully we get through the next 2 games, the Gold Cup, and then hopefully we have the group stage of the World Cup. So we have a bit of time. We'd like them earlier. It's not been possible, but we're working damn hard to make sure that we better the players, better the squad, better the talent that we've got in there.
Yep.
All right. So first of all, Cranky, by the time you got to the question, it was a very good question. Constructive criticism for the question. The lead-in is long, right? So you had a brilliant question. The question itself, brilliant. I don't know if the whole thing about you being at the game in St. Louis, I don't know how that, I don't know if those 2 things were needed, or a couple of those things were needed, but by the time you got to the question itself, great question. Now, the answer that he gave just now, I don't know, it seemed a bit like he felt like you were challenging him in some way with the question. He said also that, that they spoke about this a few months ago, and that, they're working very hard. He even said damn hard towards the end to recruit the players. But he also mentioned the process being a difficult one. You have to really stay at it because it can take a very, very long time. So, kind of just making us know that it's not as easy as maybe some people think for these things to get over the line. But he did also mention that the goal is for these recruits to come in and improve the team, which I don't know if I've ever heard him make that distinction, but that's a line that I've heard a lot in the spaces of Jamaican football when we talk about these subjects. And yeah, it's just something that I haven't heard him say before. Sometimes I feel like certain things that you don't really need to say. Like, of course, if you're getting a player in the team, it would be because you think he's going to improve the team. So I don't know if that needs to be said, but I think that's something that people always say as well. These guys that come in sometimes aren't better than what we could have been using. Whether I agree with that or not is another day, but I've never heard him make that distinction before, which I thought was important to note. He mentioned as well that they're about what? So a couple of things that he mentioned in the answer as well, which is funny when you ask a good question. One of the things that you would hope happens when they answer the question is you learn something that maybe even you weren't asking about. And he mentioned that there are 2 friendlies at the end of May, which are going to be held in England. I am wondering if that's trying to fast track the players that would be working on their documents into a camp, try to implement some of the core players with that camp, and see how that looks leading into the World Cup qualifiers and Gold Cup, to try and just, get those players into a setup with the players, to just have them play some games with the team. Maybe that's potentially what it is, right? So we learned that, and we learned that he said about 6 players are, in that process. So that's a pretty decent number of players or new players to implement into the team. And if what he says is true, that these players are going to be brought in to improve the team, that is good news, right? But in the end, I think Cranky wanted a more... Oh, and also, let me not forget this part of the answer. For the first time, at least that I can remember, Devon Porter and Ian Campbell, basically their names were said by the coach, said in tandem with Roy Simpson, the team manager, of course, which I think is an important piece to add, because I have always contended that for all the great works that the Ian Campbells and Devon Porters of the world do, I wonder how much more effective it would be if they were doing it under the I don't want to say jurisdiction, but in tandem with the JFF, so it looks a bit more official, right? Instead of just having individuals who obviously love the country and want to see the country be able to reap the benefits of all of their citizens potentially. But I do think that when the federation itself is attached to any of these processes, it can only mean better for that negotiation, because it just shows the seriousness of the endeavor, right? So, you would hear a player. I hate to use club football as an analogy because people hate when international and club get used, but I'm just thinking of like when a player goes to a club and they say, well, the manager actually flying over himself and talking to me made a difference. I think that's something similar to it when you're recruiting players to play for your country. If it's just a good Samaritan making a phone call and they're helping you through a process, I don't think that holds as much weight as, the JFF brass actually on the conference call with you while they're talking to you about certain things, just so you know that, they are aware of the situation, I think that would help. So happy to see that the coach is taking on board, two of the people that I know for a fact have spoken to a lot of players and representatives of players over the last few years and beyond, to get them to be able to play for Jamaica. So it's good that the JFF is now seeing the value in people like Ian Campbell and Devon Porter. So I want to be as balanced as possible. That was something that I didn't think I would see, that collaboration actually becoming more legitimized. And I'm happy that that has happened. So big up Devon Porter, big up Ian Campbell. Keep on putting in the good work and putting in the fight as well. We love that. The squad needs more than just 5 or 6 top level players. Our best players are old, says Nitro. All right. We need to get Ravel Morrison settled back in the team playing the cam, says Jamrock. Keep listening. He's mentioned in this press conference. I don't get why they just never seem to pick a good squad and let the coach do his job, because Jamaica always never have the option to get players off in games that they really need it. Okay. It's always passport issue float. I see the same trends. It will be a challenge. Yeah, that's the company line, It's or do they have paperwork? That's what them love actually. Do they have paperwork? They have a passport? Which is a valid question, but it's always the first question, which I don't, do you even know the player first and foremost? He said he wants players to improve the squad. Interesting, given the new players in the squad. I did not hear about the camp in May. Yeah. That's what they said. That is important to know that he's aware of the work. Yes, I agree. That's why I say I want to be balanced. I didn't ask about Russell or Anderson. I asked about Russell the last press conference. This press conference, I asked about Ravel Morrison, actually. I didn't ask about Anderson or Russell. Am I the only one in this chat that doesn't really believe nothing that this coach said at this point? I don't think you're the only one, to be honest. I don't think you're the only one. Eric Shell, the coach of Nigeria, went to speak to potential recruits in person the last few months. I'm telling you, it helps. Jebison's story, you can see the same thing. Jamrock would, okay. That is always the excuse. Yeah. Company line, Company line. Let's get back into the questions. Did Cranky get a second question?
Follow up, Mr. Spence?
Yeah, I do. I just watched the press
follow.
conference with Thomas Tuchel, the England press conference, and he was asked the question
Listen
about
to this.
the working arrangement he has with the England FA. And the question was more around, can you actually work remotely? And he noted this was only in the inception of the role, that he's been to over 25 games, only goes back to Germany to be with his family. You are currently working remotely. Can you truly be effective in your role working remotely? And do you go out to see potential recruits? and go to a number of games to watch them to see if they can add value to your team.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do and will continue to do.
Thank you, Mr. Spence. Matthew, go ahead.
Ooh.
Good morning, Coach.
Ooh. So that's the first time in a press conference I've seen McLaren kind of change his disposition completely. He did not like that question at all from Cranky. Let me just play that back because I want to see, like, was this warranted at all? Like, this response that he gave, you could tell he was a bit upset. I'm not a, what do you call it now, a body language reader or anything, but I mean, you could see
The talent that we've got in there.
Do you have a follow-up, Mr. Spence?
Yeah, I do. I just watched the press conference with Thomas Tuchel, the England press conference, and he was asked the question about the working arrangement he has with the England FA. And the question was more around, can you actually work remotely? And he noted this was only in the inception of the role, that he's been to over 25 games, only goes back to Germany to be with his family. You are currently working remotely. Can you truly be effective in your role working remotely? And do you go out to see potential recruits and go to a number of games to watch them to see if they can add value to your team?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do and will continue to do.
Thank you, Mr. Spence. Matthew, go ahead.
Good morning,
Wow.
Coach. Can you hear me?
I can, Matthew.
Yes. Good morning, Simon, as well. Coach, Lewis Baker, he was recently recalled from his loan at Blackburn, and he's been in fine form for Stoke this year. What, if anything, can you tell us about your recruitment for Lewis? And is he someone that Jamaican fans can expect to see sometime soon?
I'm not going to discuss individual players that were.
Cranky don't even realize, the man would have talked about Lewis Baker if he never asked that, That's why Cranky have to ask the last question and them something. Yeah. From now on, Cranky don't raise your hand till about the middle. Even though, that would have sad if I tell you that advice now and the man don't call on you ever. But I don't know, Cranky. You can't ask the first question, big man. Sorry. Because he's flustered. This guy is getting a treatment to him not deserve now because the man upset from your question about Tuchel. Tuchel. When you say Tuchel or Tuchel, let me know. Put T-U-K or T-U-C. Someone can know. K would be for Tuchel and C would be for Tuchel. What do you say?
Looking at and what stage they're at. Lewis is on the list. And another one that the process is very slow. But yeah, it's great to see him playing for Stoke, playing very well. We're in constant contact with him and the process goes on.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Matthew. Dre, good morning. Go ahead.
Matthew, get a short answer.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. This is Dre from Dre Any Weather Sports.
Dre Any Weather.
So, how much of an influence did the caliber of opponent have on the selection of this squad? And I have another question after that.
We know this is going to be a difficult game. So the squad that we pick is the strongest that is available to us at this present time, what I think, and a squad that is good enough to get the job done. It's with experience, players who have played regular. We welcome back a lot of players who haven't played for us since October, like Bobby Reid, like Ethan Pinnock. So we're confident that we can get the job done with the squad that we've got, and it's the strongest squad I believe that we could pick.
Okay, and also from last...
And because I deal with balance, I see A.M. Henry have a comment in the comment section here. She said, correct answer from the coach. Cranky have always maybe disparaging the coach work ethics. He doesn't know what the coach does, but continues to question the coach. So this comment stood out to me because everyone else, mentioned it was a good question and everything. I don't see the problem with the question. Yes, he's questioning the coach's work ethics, but if you have a definitive answer in the contrary, then state it. There's no need to, I do exactly what Tuchel does, because let's be honest, Henry, he doesn't do exactly what Tuchel does. Because if he did exactly what Tuchel did, then he would live in Jamaica and fly over to England and, watch games whenever he needs to watch games in England, but he doesn't do that. So in that sense, he doesn't really do exactly what he does. And I don't think that it was really necessary for him to make such a dismissive comment to what was, I think, a fair question. Yes, it was tough. It was a bit, inciting something, but I mean, not every question is going to be that simplistic to answer. And I don't think it was so over the top to where it warranted that response. Let me know, Henry, if you think I'm onto something, Maybe middle name are Richie. Really? JPL stronger than MLS? Boy, I don't think that's the truth. All right, football guru in the building says McLaren human too. He might not look technologically competent, but maybe he's seen how Cranky has been disrespecting him since he was hired. He answered Cranky's question. He said he's like Tuchel. But football guru, clearly Tuchel flies to England. He lives in Germany. But if the situation, he just said that he thinks that the best squad that is available. Not even him believes that. Yeah, I don't know how anyone can defend that statement. I mean, I guess that's what you have to say when you pick your squad, because you want your players to believe in what you're trying to achieve. But yeah, he can't mean that realistically. I mean, based on the players that we have available to be picked that I don't see on this list. And I'm not even talking about players that, if I mention their names, people are going to ask the question, do they have a passport? I'm talking about former capped players that are playing currently. Even if they're uncapped players that were in the JPL and have moved on and are doing well in their respective leagues. It just doesn't make sense to me that when those players leave, it's like they're the forgotten ones. And I guess we can only use the ones that are still there so that we can get them an opportunity to leave. I don't know why I'm asking the question. I know that's what happens, Perfect question to ask the coach in a leadership. Yeah, Tuchel. So it's got to be the CH sound is a sh sound, right? It's not k. Can't be. But I just don't know how it's pronounced perfectly. I've always gone between the two. So I don't know. So I'm assuming that I'm pronouncing it better now. Tuchel or Tuchel. Bro, Cranky asked a good question. Take a look over England and Brazil fence and listen to some of those questions. Yo, I'm telling you, people always say that, like, the YouTubers just hate the JFF and they do this and they do that. But we are only in tune with what's going on in the JFF because we are fans of Jamaican football. So we watch the JFF YouTubers. But if you watch, 11 Yanks and my boy, the name Tactical Manager, and them they beat the US Federation, them beat everything, beat. So I don't even think that it's like any worse in this space than anywhere else, to be honest. And I want to even say that there's probably more balance in this space than most other spaces. Most other spaces in this social media realm and this type of media, it's mostly like toxic beating against the people. Like that's literally what most of it is. So I think it's kind of tame compared to that. Sometimes you have to preface the question in a way to lighten the impact. Yeah, Brando, I have I remember there was one press conference where Cranky said I asked a question that he was gonna ask, and he said in a way he was kind of happy that I asked it because his lead up to the question was a bit more biting than what I said in my lead up to the actual question. And he was saying that maybe that lended itself to actually getting an answer as opposed to him being upset, which is what happened with the second question that he asked in this press conference, So I have mentioned that to him before, that you can maybe, you don't want to put the person like totally on the defensive that's going to answer the question. Like, you have to say it in a way where they at least want to answer it without feeling like they have to be guarded. That's why sometimes you can't blame the players for staying in the JPL, because after JPL, them national reports tear up. Yo, bro, I said it earlier today. I was on I forget where I was, but I was saying, if I am advising JPL players who are on the cusp of leaving, first thing I would ask them is, what league are you going to and where? Because if you go to, Serbia, Slovenia, any country that's not deemed I don't want to say top 5, because if you go to England and you're in the championship per se, that's not a top 5 league. But if you're in a championship, definitely they'd be looking at you still, very much so. But a lot of our players that go to these smaller European nations and do decent over there, they would have been told, okay, try to get a contract overseas. They get the contract overseas, and nothing's going on. They don't get called. We don't talk about them anymore in these YouTube spaces enough. And it's like out of sight, out of mind. And we watch Sports Max that weekend and we say, okay, these 5 players need to get a chance, because we always have these slots that we put players in. So here's the 5, or here's the 3, or here's the 4, or whatever the number is. But it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, you told them that a move overseas would be good for them, but then when they move, basically any club which is not known to local Jamaicans. That is true, because even like Mason Greenwood is probably the first player I can remember that we have had as a recruit, as a name that people actually are legitimately excited about. Obviously, some due to off the field things might not feel, they have whatever feelings about the situation. But I'm talking from a footballing standpoint. Anybody that would know football, or have watched football, understand football at all, would know that Mason Greenwood is a super talented footballer. And so, of course, him rising to prominence at Manchester United, no less, would have made it even more of a big deal to Jamaican fans, because the EPL, La Liga, these top leagues, that's really what the king of football is in Jamaica, if we're being totally honest. Most of the local programs that speak sports, yes, they speak about the JPL, but it's about for 3 minutes, and then the rest of the show is about Liverpool and Arsenal and Chelsea and whoever else is playing. So it's just the way it is, right? It's just the way it is. So I agree, football guru, like, people just don't know the players, and nobody really bigs them up anymore. Once they leave, they're gone, and it's like nothing. Henry says the majority of the team is in Europe. Why should he live in Jamaica? Commercially, this does not make sense. The majority of the English team is based in the UK. Do it make sense the coach live there? Okay, so you're saying, based on how our team makeup is, it really don't make sense for him to live in Jamaica anyway, which is what I had said a long time ago, but people were saying, no, he has to be here. A good question to ask the coach, to tell us about his work schedule. This would get a better response. Okay, so that goes to what I was saying about his first question. The lead-in sometimes almost like just throwing gasoline on something that don't need it. The question itself is going to hit hard enough. There's no need to preface it by, letting him know exactly why you're asking it and, brother, do your job better. Basically, by the end of the question, that's what it sounds like you're saying, But yeah, I think the question itself was a damn good one. I mean, how similar is how you operate to what Tuchel does? Because we have like a template of what a coach who has various places to be at during these club windows when players are playing their games. Like, how do you split your time and get to see all the games you would need to see? Daniel Johnson and Robert should be in the squad over some of the names that I see on the list and others. Yeah, Daniel Johnson is a head scratcher for me. Did Javan East come up? I think the coach mentioned Javan East at some point, but it wasn't asked directly as a question about East, no. DJ, Anderson, Russell, Holgate. How can this be the best squad? Well, of those 4, I think only Holgate is an injury omission. The other 3 are just not selected by the coach. Dixie can't make a League One. So if this is our best squad, we're in big trouble. Yeah, Trevante Stewart, I think, should be there. Javon East, I think, should be there as well. Seems like Garden don't like them. Oh, gosh. Why would top players like Greenwood want to play in a team that is devoid of quality players? Yeah, I asked about Jonathan Russell the last time. I should have just followed it up again with him again, because the last answer he gave was that his friend, who is a big Barnsley supporter, told him that Russell is playing really well. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I agree, but in the player's point of view, they stand more of a chance getting called up in the JPL than outside. Yeah, for sure. Hutchinson has chosen England because they have a genuine chance of competing for major silverware. All right, let's get back to Dre.
Again, I'm not sure if you watch it, but were there any players that you were impressed with their individual performances from the Cavaliers team, of course?
Yeah, obviously, you know, we were there to, and I've seen Cavaliers probably more than any other team, so I know the players well. We had them in camp also. And yeah, some players were very, very close and now really on standby for the squad because we've had injuries already this week. We've got a weekend to go, so we'll probably get more injuries and fallout. So we need replacements. And no hesitation, we have players in the UK, but also local players now. You know, we've included King is an integral part of our squad and our team. Ainsworth obviously comes into that as well. But they have many good players. We've looked at Atkinson, at Calvin, at Shamal Watson, Adrian Reed. So there are many good players in the Cavaliers squad and team, and they proved that over the 2 legs against Inter Miami. So there's talent on this island. I know that now. I've worked with them, and we'll continue to do that.
Thanks, Dre. Livingston, Scott, good morning.
Yes, morning, coach.
Morning.
Yes, coach. I just wanted to ask you about Warner Brown. We have a number striker in the squad, but it shows him as the local striker to show. Just give me your insight into your selection of Warner Brown.
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of Warner Brown before the camp a few weeks ago. I liked him in camp. He was a goal scorer. The game we went to see him, Arnott Gardens, he scored a hat-trick. And so it's quite easy to include him in that squad. And he's one of them who I think can help us impact. He's a goal scorer. He's quick, he runs behind, and he's got an eye for goal. And we haven't got in the number 9 position anywhere in the UK or even on the island, you know, really standout strikers that we can pick. Shamar Nicholson comes in. Antonio was obviously our number 1. Romario Williams was also effective in the 2 games. 2 camps that we had before the new year. I liked him, but unfortunately we can't get him. So the number 9 is a position in which we need to find that hidden gem. So yeah, Shamar, Warner Brown have got an opportunity this week in the 2 games to seal a place.
Okay, thank you.
Just want to ask, coach.
Yeah, so he mentioned there the number 9 situation, which is something that I've done programs on in between these windows. And I disagree when he says that there aren't, well, when he uses the word standout, maybe I don't disagree, because I wouldn't say we have these standout strikers out there just waiting. But in the context of this squad and the team that's selected, when you look at the forwards, right? You have the wingers, Leon Bailey, Damari Gray, Cephas, who can play striker as well. But then, what would be more center forwards? Of course, Dixon can play wing, but I think he can play center forward too. It would be Nicholson, Dixon, and Brown. So, Javon East just moved to Israel doing his thing. Trevante Stewart, I know some people might not think he's to the level due to what I thought was a really poor showing the last time we saw him against Canada. But I would like to think that based on his progression and performance in the Serbian First Division this season, he's somebody that should be revisited. His size, his skill set. If we need a post-up striker at any point, he has the size for that. And I think that's something that when I watch his clips this season, he has improved immensely in that function of his game. And just overall understanding space much better this season compared to last. So I just feel like, I don't know, man. Trevante Stewart for me should have gotten a look in this window. And also Javon East. I mean, at this point, him not being able to get selected with some of these teams I've seen selected, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Somebody in there just doesn't think the guy is good, and I don't know what evidence they would be watching to have that thought at all. Some will say maybe Javani's had his time and this and that. I disagree. I think you got to revisit players and make sure that you just got to make sure that you're not worrying about what happened before. You have to deal with what's going on now. And some of these players, I think, we're overlooking them, and we shouldn't be. We really should not be overlooking them, Hallgrimson didn't think the local players was good enough. I wonder what McLaren is seeing that Hallgrimson couldn't. An astute individual will ferret out a gotcha question and deal with it accordingly. That I agree with. I don't think that any question should rattle you to the point where you can't answer it professionally if you're at this type of level. Was McGee picked to quiet Butler, seeing so many Cavalier players? I don't know. Yes, what I said. Don't know Warner Brown. What happened to Jamal Lowe? I don't know. Jamal Lowe is, not been playing well, to be fair. Yeah, he hasn't been getting as many minutes as I thought he would at Sheffield Wednesday. Every week I'm looking and just on the bench, getting 10 minutes here, just not playing as much as I thought. I think Cephas showed promise when he played centre forward against the USA. He just need to work on the finishing. Yeah, MF, I think that could be where he really goes in the long term in his career, actually. You see him going more and more central for his club as well. So it could happen. Yo. Good evening. Owen Squared. Yeah, Stuart and East would be more helpful to our World Cup team given their experience. Yeah, man. Good evening. East is getting a raw deal. He was on fire in Costa Rica and still couldn't get a call up. Something is going on between Japan and the JFF. I'm dying to hear his side of it. Yeah. Somebody needs to try to get him on for real, because it's been too long now. And for a long time, I was never the biggest Javon East fan when he was playing for Jamaica, to be honest. I used to talk and say, boy, we have others who could probably play for him, but look, form is form, and longevity is longevity, So he's been doing it too long in a league that I have seen players from that league play against us, and I'm like, yo, where this player play? Look it up. Oh, Alawalense. Oh, Saprissa. So these are good players. This is a good league that he was playing in, high level, and he was one of the most sought after attackers in that entire league. So that should tell you something. The others that not playing at the level he's playing well. Oh, okay. I think the coach answered accordingly. Bam said, Jaja, may I try with Steve, but him know how to disappoint me in these interviews. Why? I think more and more people get into that sentiment. Some not so much, but others are thinking that it's time to forgive certain players that made up top a score. Yeah, look, I didn't even say the words that trigger everybody in the Jamaica fan base, Junior Flemings, but I mean, it's a couple seasons in a row now him producing and getting goal contributions, and can't see him, can't hear from him. It's like him gone. Because I don't see why we need to go to unproven JPL players. He needs to do the media rounds. Out of sight, out of mind. The YouTube space has a lot of more influence than we think, says Brando. Learn from McLaren. Professional people don't answer some questions. Some people like Trump would tell you that is a stupid question, but McLaren and professionals will skip them. Okay. So there's different ways to say a question stupid. You can do the Trump way, which is tell you that it's stupid, or you can just skip them. Well, I think by skipping them though, Guru, they're basically saying the question stupid, without saying the question stupid. So I don't know. Only people that can comprehend things without it being spelled out for them would think otherwise. So I don't know. I guess one is more effective, but they're both saying the same thing basically. I'm gonna rate your question, I'm gonna answer you. Anyway, let me get back to the press conference again.
Just as I said, a lot of local players in the squad. Will we get to see a mix? Are you showing some confidence in some of these players?
Yeah, absolutely. And looking forward to we have join up on Monday. We have 3 days preparation, which gives us good time to look at the players and find the right balance of the team. And as I say, it's not those who start, it's also the finishers. So it's a squad game, and I believe we've got a strong enough squad to get through.
Thank you, Livingston. Simon Stone from the B.
Yeah, so he was asking basically, can we expect to see the players actually play? It's a lot of local players in the camp. Will we see a balance of the actual players playing? Do you have the confidence in them to actually play them? You know what I mean? So yeah, he answered basically saying, look, they're in the team because I trust them. I think they can get the job done for the what we have to do against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So that's how he responded to that. Owen said, what about the local players who are now playing overseas that are not a regular in our A team? Why not call them for these games? I agree totally. I think that those players like Trevante Stewart, Javon East, if you want to go with some youth, somebody like Shaquan Satchwell, who from what I can remember has never been in the setup. He's doing well in the Slovenian second league. Yes, he's on a winter break right now, so maybe not the best timing, but he's just somebody that we should have in our thoughts. Junior Flemings is another one that's been playing well. Daniel Johnson, for the life of me, I don't understand how he's not in this squad. The coach has said he likes ball handling midfielders. Who handles the ball better than Daniel Johnson in our entire... All the players we've seen play midfield for Jamaica, besides Ravel Morrison, who handle the ball better than Daniel Johnson? And in terms of ball retention, keeping the ball. Him. He's on form, playing extremely well in the Turkish second division. His team is in the playoff promotion area, in that third, fourth area, second. So he'll be in the Turkish Super League if this keeps up. And he's a big part of that team's success this season, playing cam or box-to-box in midfield. So I don't know. It's a weird one. Yeah, Steve doesn't know our players, them. That's disappointing, to say the least. He didn't know Nikhil Ellis or Seymour Reed. It seems John Russell played golf. My gosh. Yeah, I never asked about Russell today. This is my problem with the selection of the team. This shit been going on far too long. Yeah, it has. Steve Jobs don't seem to be selecting players just to utilize what is given to him. Look at the girls' selection. Very different from the men. Yeah, every time. I think he may already have in mind who he wants and is focusing on acquiring those players. Time to boil it down. Why time is over. Okay. You know, no more people. Mother Sill, forgotten son. Yeah, man, want to star up League One. Same damn place. No way for coaches to do distance coaching. MF said we need players who are going to have an impact, and that is what we need to focus on. Okay. Cranky question was stupid. If you see Tuchel and England operating like Jamaica, why question the man's work ethic? He's not doing anything usual. It's all about lack of intelligence and disrespect. Oh, he's not doing anything unusual. Okay. Again, I will stick with this football guru. And Cranky's question, the second one, which elicited that short answer, there was nothing wrong with the question itself. I think the leading could have been worked on so that the question would have gotten an answer. Damian Lowe is not in the squad for personal reasons, but he did say he's on standby for the second leg if needed. Last press conference, the last one right before this, I asked about John Russell, and he told me that he would continue watching him. I should have really asked again, since I was the one to ask, but I had two questions, and I wanted to ask the one about Ravel. I had it on my list, and somebody reached out to me in the press conference and said, listen, my questions are up. Please ask about Ravel. And I had it on my list, so I said, all right, that's a sign. I need to ask the Ravel question. And then the other question really had more to do with the fact that he's picking these 9 local players. I haven't heard him mention Marion Garden as much, so I just wanted to know how confident and comfortable. Well, you'll hear my question soon, but I wanted to know, like, are these 9 actually his picks? Like, does he feel strongly enough about saying, okay, I put myself behind these picks from JPL, So yeah, that will forward in the very soon. I don't remember exactly when I asked, but it should be coming up soon.
See, good afternoon, Si.
Simon.
Hope you're okay, mate. Hope you're okay. Good to see
Listen,
you.
I'm good.
BBC man, get a question now.
Just got a couple of questions. I mean, first of all, did you say you were playing a couple of friendlies in England at the end of this season? And also, what conversations have you had with Michail Antonio? Because obviously when the accident happened, it looked horrific, and a lot of people wondered whether he would actually play again anyway. From what he's saying, he sounds pretty confident that that's going to happen. And do you think he's capable of playing at international level this summer?
Yeah, he certainly seems to think so. And Michail is a warrior. He's come from non-league and he's fought his way through, playing in the Premier League, playing in top games, Europe, and playing internationally for Jamaica and making an impact wherever he goes. I mean, it was horrendous, the accident. We spoke to him a couple of days after that accident. And he's one of them that I never really knew him I knew him on the field because he was always a pest whenever we played against him. But off the field, he's a true character. Great for the squad, always bubbly, always positive. And we missed that. Not just he's on the field, but off the field. I spoke to him 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's on the treadmill. He's running. He's looking to go out, and he's confident that he will come back, and he's aiming to come back for the summer period, or hopefully our World Cup qualifying group, which will be September, October, November. So that's his goal. The one thing that he said he's got motivation. And when warriors have got motivation, they tend to achieve the goal. And his goal is to be fit in the summer to help Jamaica qualify.
So yeah, that question basically from the BBC reporter asking about Michail Antonio. He also slipped in that, did you say you're going to have some camps in May? I didn't hear him in this answer really talk about that at all. And I think it just got glossed over. But he did mention that in his opening remarks, and I think that's why the reporter asked about it. That was news to me. So yeah, we'll try to get the clarification on that window and see what that's all about in the coming, whenever we get a chance to speak to the coach again. Wagwan coaches desk, big up yourself, bro. Yeah, man. Weekend triple treat. People have said them can't see no more right, but through them know say your thing different, What is the average for our current team? Good question, RR. I'll have to break that down with this current 23 and see what the age is. I will have that answer for you before the games for sure. This team, let me write that down right. So average age question. This team looks like a team to save money. No team with 9 JPL players is our best team. I don't think they respect St. Vincent. Yes, Henry, and that's why at the beginning of the show, I don't know if you were here when I first started, but I was saying that this team looks like a team to save money. Yeah, I was saying that it reminds me of when we were going into that World Cup qualifying window last June, when basically a lot of the players didn't come and we were told that they were, wanting extra time off and things of that nature. I don't know if it was really put to them how important, which is crazy to me because it's literally the World Cup qualifiers, but how important it would have been for them to, handily defeat the opponents that they had, because it could come down to goal difference with the other team in the group, But again, we downplay the opponent, we downplay, it was, yeah, I don't know. The implication that the coach isn't picking the squad is disrespectful. Do you really believe a coach of his caliber would abdicate his responsibility if it goes tits up, it's on him? Well, MF, the only reason why, the only reason why we asked that is because he was so adamant to tell us about how he would have come up with the other teams before. So I was just wondering, at some point, as you say, it's on him. So he would want to take more accountability for his decisions as far as the squad, which I think he did in this window, like with these 9 players. Like he said, look, this has more to do with me having a camp with these players and all these things. So yeah, he's now taking that accountability, but he wasn't before, But if those who are suggesting steering wrong, he'll learn. Yeah, well, that's a tough way to learn. As you said, it's on him, because even if they tell him, he's the one that's going to bear the brunt of everything. I like how he didn't answer the Ravel question. It is easy for the questioner to find out that Ravel isn't serious in his retirement league. Why force McLaren to say something negative about Ravel? Well, they're the ones that picked him for the USA second leg, So as much as we thought it was a retirement league, clearly they didn't think it was enough of a retirement league. Rob agreeing with you, though, Guru, saying, sorry, Jason, your Ravel question don't make sense. Ravel playing tennis, man. Playing tennis. Man is corner league baller. Yeah, well, hey. Again, that question was opened up only by the fact that in a crucial second leg game, we flew him out from his corner league and didn't use him none at all. So why would they do that in such an important game? Then now we have these 2 games that are supposed to be important. We have injuries in midfield. We have injuries according to this list. We have deficiencies in midfield, period. I mean, I'm looking at these names, and a corner league level baller might actually give us more than some of these names. I'm sorry. What is the highest level league St. Vincent players playing? I believe they have some players over in England, if I'm not mistaken. But let me just double check that. I know one of them play like USL League One, because he used to play on a team that a Jamaican player play on. Let me see if I can tell you guys though. Just 1 second, people. People, make sure you guys are smashing the like button, I haven't been asking for none of them things, but please, people, smash that like button. Extended squad. 15 foreigners. Huh. All right, let's see. I don't know none of them club here. Hayward, Heath Town, Masters Football. Boy, the highest one, somebody play for North Carolina FC, And that should be the youth I know. Alex Anderson. So yeah, I mean, they aren't at no level per se. But boy, where the people from Dominica play. Or Dominica, I should say. St. Vincent is not to be taken lightly. Just go ask El Salvador. Yeah, them barely scrape. All you have to do is look at the past track records. Okay. Wait, the gaffer box Jason? No, sir. I'm saying box me still. I think the biggest box was Cranky still. But he never take my question like how Rob Smith make it sound, to be honest. Has Damian Lowe ever missed a window before because of personal? I don't think so. I don't think so. If the coach thinks Ravel isn't serious, then why pick him? That's my point, BM. Them want to ridicule me for my question, yet still him saying one pick the man already in a big window. Jamaican squads has always taken into consideration money. However, I was hoping that in a World Cup qualifying year, they would pick the best against every team. We do not have much time for team building. Facts. Guru, I agree. Thank you, RR. Bro, when we brought on Hayden, was he playing? Nope. He wasn't playing none at all. he got his fitness with Jamaica, basically. Some National League ballers, that's it. Some Dagenham and Redbridge baller. I play against Big Heck. Float said, no matter where I play, that's disrespect to the players. Ravel not taking his football serious. Did Low become too expensive? Yeah, one flight from Saudi a camp, you know, so it's gonna be Low or Demari from this point. Oh boy. As football guru said, the hope would be, no expenses spared in this crucial time, but maybe that's not the case, Sad, but might be the truth. All right. Next question.
And just, I know you don't want to talk about individual players, but is there any update on the Mason Greenwood situation?
Not really. The ball is in his court. He knows that. He's settling nicely in Marseille, despite some run-ins with De Zerbi just recently. But he's loving his football. We're in contact all the time, him and his family. And I'm very confident that he only wants to play for Jamaica. So every conversation is, I only want to play for Jamaica. And it's up to him when he wants to move forward with that. And I think we are at the present moment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sai. All right, Jason Hall, good morning.
Jason Hall.
Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach. Good morning, everyone here. My question, obviously, to Coach, I had a question on Ravel Morrison. He was added, of course, for the second leg of the USA match for the Nations League, but was an unused substitute. Was he in consideration for selection for this squad and just didn't quite make it? Or do you have anything to say on Ravel?
Yeah, I mean, I know Ravel, and we brought him in and we thought he could impact. We had injuries, and there was, I think, a question earlier about the golfing quality ourselves in the USA, which was apparent, especially in that second game. We missed a lot of players for that. Holgate was out, Pinnock was out. We didn't have Antonio. We didn't have Bobby Reid. And Casey Palmer in the second. So we were down on half a team of quality. So you could see that gulf. Them players have come back in, and we're looking to keep that strength.
Okay, thank you. And my next question is more about the local contingent. We have 9 players from the JPL in this squad of 23. In the past, when we have picked local players, you have kind of made mention that you've kind of leaned on your staff that might be more familiar with the players. Where would you say you are currently with your own knowledge of the local players? And is it a case where now you feel confident in making these decisions? Obviously, you're going to lean on your staff as well, but maybe not as much as before.
No, I think from the start of the job, of the first 3 camps that we had, we relied heavily on Merrin Gordon and the local staff that we've got in terms of players outside of the UK, on the island, and even in MLS, USL, players of that caliber, we relied on them. The big advantage is that over them 3 camps that we've had, we've seen a lot of players because of injuries. We've had to call in players, and we've looked at some and looked at others and discovered some gems and others who were not good enough. And we just felt that the camp in January that we had and the games in February against Trinidad, working with the players closely day in, day out, living with them in hotels and the technical centre, that we got to know these players very well, the habits, the character. And in that 3-week period that I was over, watched a lot of games, but working with them, that's where you truly see the players. So it was great, that camp, and great working with them. And you're absolutely right, that gives me confidence that I didn't have before, in terms of the quality and the character of local players. Now that I've seen them at close hand, no hesitation in putting local players in who I think are the best for the job, best for the squad, and especially for these 2 games.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, so those are my 2 entries into the press conference today. You know, I see even in the comment section here on the show, you know, Rob Smith saying that second question was a good one, but he don't have time for the first. But that's okay. Look, you're not going to please everyone in this world, and that's fine. I also want to big up as well Talawa TV. I saw you hopped into the building. Big up yourself. Everybody you don't know Crystal have our channel. Go and show her some support. Talawa TV dropping the content, all the Jamaican football news. You can find over there as well another voice in the space. One that's very needed because it's a different sounding voice, because a one bag up man everywhere. So yes, different perspectives, and that's good. MF said the 2 questions were pertinent, so somebody like both of them, and that's fine. Love that as well. And you can dislike both of them too. It is what it is. Yeah, man, big up Talawa. You know, it's well, all of us don't have time to go on everyone's shows, but what we can do, when you drop onto our show, we can at the very least acknowledge and tell people to give you the same strength that you would, I'm sure, give me if I were to say hello on your stream. So it makes perfect sense to me. All right. Float said the questions were perfect. My gosh. All right. So we'll just work with float management analysis on it. See? But yeah, I thought he answered them. He said basically, look, at this point, you know, the first 3 windows, yes, I did lean heavily on my staff, Merrin Gordon and all the other local staff. But, you know, he said this time, listen, I am basically telling you guys that I feel confident in the players I've selected. I have enough knowledge of them now after going to a camp with them, playing some games with them as well, of who could get the job done, who took on the instruction the best. And I would think that these 9 players he would have chosen are the some quote-unquote stars of the bunch in terms of, you know, all his breakdown of what they would have gotten out of these camps. Now, to be fair, in this local contingent, you know, Shaquan Davis and Richard King pretty much have been in the squads, I would say, all the time, even prior to McLaren. Magee, kind of on that fence as well, but I wouldn't say him as much. The other 7, though, or the other 6, I would say, besides Magee, they are truly, you know, finds out of the JPL. Anglin, I guess, could be in the Magee role because he has been in some full international squads before as well. But McCullough, Ming, Ainsworth, and Fitzroy Cummins, and Warner Brown, you know, those would be ones that definitely, without those Trinidad games, perhaps they're not in this team. So, you know, when everyone asks, you know, why we do these things, why are we doing it? I was thinking it was mainly to just have him learn the players better. Not necessarily that they will be in the next full international window that we have, but that seems to be what has happened. You know, he said about 6 to 7 names of players that are injured or away due to personal reasons, and I would say there's about 6 to 7 new players from the JPL in this squad. So he did mention as well, you know, there's another weekend of games to come. So he said they're standby players. I put Cavs players question mark because he said that's who he watches more than any other team. So, you know, who knows? Something happens this weekend to one of these players in the attacking area, let's say. You know, Jalmar Calvin will probably be added in, or Busy Atkinson or somebody from that Cavaliers team. So, yeah, let's continue though. Those are my 2 entries and the answers. Out of the bunch, I think with injuries, Ainsworth deserved a look in. Yeah, I wanted to leave a little bit of time to actually break down the squad, but now that I'm thinking about it, we're only on the 14th of March. So I think that there'll be ample time to do shows just going through the squad and nitpicking and seeing who could have been here and there and everywhere. I'm just going to give the press conference the full 2 hours, I think, because there is some more content in the press conference that I want to go through and have some more discussion about. So we'll just keep it right there for this show. I will have another show just breaking down the players because we haven't really gotten time to do that, because I think the discussion about the coach's responses, the questions that he's been asked, I think that it has been a meaningful discussion, and I'm glad that I haven't rushed through it, because I think we have gotten through a lot of opinions, and I think people might have a clearer view of some of the questions and the line of questioning and how they were answered and all these things. I think this was all necessary. So very happy how the show is going so far. Again, people, I see about 50 out of you in the building. Please do smash the like button. Hopefully this video can get to 100 likes. It shouldn't be too hard with the amount of viewers I've seen on it for most of it. So yes, people, get the likes up on the video and subscribe and share, please. Thanks. Let's keep running it.
Brian Martin, good morning.
BAM Sports.
Yeah, good morning, Simon. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I am. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, coach. Just a question on 2 players. So in the local Premier League, we have an attacking midfielder called Nikhil Ellis, who's actually been doing pretty well. Do you know anything about him? And also, recently, we had a U17 World Cup qualification, which we had a young striker, Seymour Reid. I noticed you mentioned strikers just now. He's a young player who's been training with his MLS outfit and is also playing in the MLS Next Pro. Any reasons as to why he couldn't have been invited in this camp?
Hey, you know what I say? I never ever realized this until just now. BAM Sports sound just like Marion Garden, you know. Let me know if I go crazy. But brother, I swear the man sound like Marion Garden when him talk just now.
Yeah, we've got a little bit for experience, but we certainly know the boy Fuller. And while we were over the last camp, we did have a couple of days at the technical centre where the under-7.
Hold on. BAM Sports never asked him about Nikhil Ellis. What am I talking about Fuller for? Through him name Nikolai. Jaja. BAM, I just realize the man just swear say Nikolai Fuller you're talking. The squad looks strong enough to do the job, but Javane, John Bell, Trevante, and Norman Campbell could have easily replaced some players. Football Guru, I agree with that easily. Big up JG. Those 9 local players are mainly just to make up numbers. Most will not play. There are about 100 players that are good enough to be in the team, but the coach only can pick 23. Franklin Young, this mindset is why we always get into problems. All right, you say these players not going to play. In the first game, Isaac Hayden pick up an injury. This is a hypothetical, people. We don't want it to happen. Isaac Hayden pick up an injury. Casey Palmer get a red card. And this is impossible, but it can happen. Ethan Pinnock feels something tightness in his hamstring in the first match, can't play. Amari Bell, same thing. Calf muscle give out in the first leg. Damari Gray can't play the first game because something reach him on him flight and him stomach take him. Leon Bailey play the first game, feel tightness, fly back at Villa. Andre Blake, him alright, because we don't want to injure off everybody to rot it. But listen, if something like that were to occur, where most of these players that you think going to play all the minutes get something reach them in this two-leg setup that we have going here. We're always doing this, guys. We're always doing this. I'm just saying, I know what you're saying, Franklin, but I keep telling you guys, when you have a squad, stop thinking so much about the players that not going to play. Because every window we end up needing to make a sub, needing to do something, and you guys cuss the coach, say him not no players, or him not no sense, because him not make subs. But suppose the man keep picking teams like Franklin is saying, not caring about how him finish out the squad, and then him can't make adjustments in the game. That always reaching us, people, and we can't see it. We keep on doing the same thing. I'm telling you. Brother, Nikai Ellis, the man talk about, you know, and a Nikolai Fuller, the man start talk about, you know. Coach look like him drinking. Brother, I don't know. Yeah, well, all right. Him don't get to the Seymour Reid part yet. But listen how the man answer the Seymour Reid part. Basically, him not know we were talking neither.
Teams were preparing for their camp. So we saw a lot of them players and the ability and the talents that they've got. And that was apparent in the games. Unfortunately, they got knocked out unexpectedly when probably they
don't remind me
through. And yes, I think you're absolutely right. We need to look at these players even closer because age is not anything. If they're talented and they're good enough and they're better than what you've got, no doubt we will put them in. So these are two players that we've got on the radar and we will certainly be following. As I say, for the summer, you know, we've got heavy recruitment already in process, and different names coming to us every day, not just players in England, but also in America and other countries. So recruitment is certainly one of them important aspects of building this squad so it's strong enough to qualify for the World Cup.
Oh, pristine.
Thank you, Brian. Daniel, Blake?
Brother, I'll know the man that talk about Seymour Regional. Man said him know them was at the training up at the center, and him see them at training, him see the boys training and see their talents, and then him say him see them not qualify for the World Cup, which me never even want to hear again, but it's reality, so I guess he had to say that. But bro, the man not hear who the man asks about, him start talk about the next player. I don't know, bro. Everyone should be able to play. Thank you, Rob Smith. You should not pick a team. Yeah, Fuller is who we know exactly. You shouldn't pick a team and be thinking, Jano Star, I really want to bring on a brother. No, it's a national team, guys. You can't have people on a team like that. Only great thing about this team is that Low not there, but could have bring Jamal Low over Shamar. Tired of it. They say, yeah, glad Damian Low not there. My gosh. Norman Campbell and Filmer can't make the team, but 9 JPL players get selected. This is crazy. Doing the same thing. Yep, it's the same thing over and over. I'm telling you, these same people where I say, oh, they might not play. When we play Dominican Republic, and we beat 1-0 and 3-2 in some games where I hope, yeah, man, going into the next window, we're going +8 and +9 and then madness there. No, sir. They're way behind in a goal difference now. Just because of the same mindset. This coach is a con man, the right coach for the JFF. Oh my gosh. Everybody on the bench should be able to add value to the team. Agree. Paula, lace up back your shoes because I'm going to fire this coach if ever drink one more rum from Jay. But Gooner, then let YouTube run the under 17 and get the same results. A joke. No, 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 no. Do not say YouTube run that under 17. Don't do it that. Don't do it that. Because those who know who ran that U17 team, and it wasn't no damn YouTubers. I can tell you that right now. I'm tired of the same old. Yeah, it's that make we not get triple treat again, you know, them kind of stylings, you know, man. We still have replacements good enough to win against St. Vincent. If Pinnock goes down, I still am confident that Leng can do the job with King or Latibo there. Same thing in other positions. I glad they referenced the defense, you know, because that's the one place where I actually trust some of the JPL people in there. I like Cummins. I actually like Ming. I actually like King. And I actually like Ainsworth. I think all four of those players are decent and at a level enough to where I wouldn't be like, you know, fretting if they got into the game. But I want to say that there's other people in other areas that I don't necessarily feel the same way about, to be honest. I'm not saying you should pick that squad just because everybody's crying about the 9 players. No, it's not about the 9 players, you know. It's not about the 9 JPL. I don't want it to become, oh, may I fight the 9 JPL. That's not it. I'm just saying we have seen this play out before where we have an opponent on paper and we kind of rationalize some of the decisions because we know the opponent we're playing is a certain level. And I don't think we should be doing that in 2025. I just don't think that's smart. This may leave Manu and Richard Jamaica, but JFF let him have vendor for Kukuju. Yeah, start and 3 years later, it's the same thing. Yeah. Then some people complaining about local players in the squad, but earlier wanted the coach to live here. Is who him supposed to monitor when him live here? For real. For real. That's a good point, you know. Hopefully it's not the same people that say they want him live here complaining about the local players. That wouldn't make sense. The answer why Ravel was not picked, someone answer this. Basically, him never said these words, but him said that when they looked at the squad, they wanted to, when they called Ravel the last time, he named out the players that were unavailable for that game. Bobby Reed, Casey Palmer, who else did he say? Kaim Dixon. I forget the other players that he said. He named out about 5 or 6 players, and then he said, so, you know, then they needed to try to replace that quality, but now those players are back. So there's, you know, basically there's no need to pick Ravel. Anybody who doesn't see that JFF is interfering with the team is blind. Coach has nothing to do with this. The last coach did the same thing, and it goes on and on. So determined say remove McLaren, remove Hallgrimson. They're not the villains. It's the people in the shadows that we don't see. Coach, you remember what I said 3 years ago? Nothing will change. Coach is Des TV. Now I see why he stopped doing triple treat. Tired of foolishness as well. Unlike Speed, who would say, which football you watch? Pick a U17 who couldn't perform in a crucial game. Instead, McLaren was diplomatic and skipped the question about the player. All right, football guru. Thank you for being the what do you call it now? The translator for the coach for those who don't understand.
Observer, good morning, Daniel.
Hi, good morning, Simon. Good morning, Coach.
Hi, Daniel.
First question in regards to Leon Bailey. After he had scored in the first leg against Club Brugge in the Champions League, he said he was really looking forward to playing in the Gold Cup qualifiers and, you know, eventually making it to the Gold Cup. He also admitted
you're doing for your club. That's why you picked. Come and do it for Jamaica.
Sorry, people.
And that's what we expect.
Me press mute like an idiot.
Yeah, and second, a fairly tough season, but you know he's a warrior, like you mentioned. Similarly with Michael Antonio, what have your conversations been
don't
with
like
him,
this question.
Since that last USA game in November? I know that he's been sort of in and out of the Aston Villa team, but how much confidence have you seen from him in recent games and just in your conversations with him?
Yeah, the conversations are always positive. I'm very honest. We were very honest after the 2 USA games, and we followed him. I follow him very, very closely, and it's no coincidence. Unai Emery, he, you know, when the big games are on, when they have to win, he always puts Leon in the team. He's got a lot of games, a lot of rotation going on. That's why he's in and out. His fitness is good when he plays. He feels good and plays well. And, you know, you trust the judgment of top managers, and Unai Emery is a top manager. And when he picks Leon for the best games, certainly over the last few weeks, certainly impacted whenever he's played. And that's what we expect. And that's the conversation that we have with Leon and everybody, Damari Gray, anybody who comes. You know, what you're doing for your club. That's why you picked. Come and do it for Jamaica. And that's what we expect.
What you're doing for your club, that's why you picked.
In all of the squads that you've chosen, you've given a lot of credit to your assistant, Meron Gordon, who has been able to, you know, help you with some of the local players and some of them who were, you know, based in some of the European countries and in America and so forth. Have you gotten more comfortable in squad selection, especially after having that camp, knowing more of the local players while trying to blend that in with the European-based players?
Yeah, I think when I got the job, took the job, you know, I knew the squad. I knew the UK-based players within that squad. I knew the UK-based players that the JFF been trying to recruit as well. The one thing I didn't know was the local talents, how good they were. And as you're saying rightly, I gained confidence in terms of selecting local players. One through Meron Gordon very early on, and the second was the camp that we've had. Working close hands every day, coaching, building relationships, seeing them actually with the Jamaican shirt on. And is it too heavy for some players? We certainly saw that. And it gives me a lot more confidence in saying, yes, I think he can do a job because I know the quality that's required. So yes, I think present squad, players we're trying to recruit, and now local players, and seeing a lot more games. I'm a lot more confident in what is available on this island.
Thank you, Daniel. We now go to CC. Go ahead.
Close the show now. CC Hudson.
CC, good morning. You can unmute.
CC, I fight him phone, you know, wherever I'm there. Can't see my fight.
I have unmuted. Sorry about that. Good morning, coach. Good morning. You hear me, coach?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
Yes. So, coach, my question surrounds the fact that when you mentioned about number 9s, right, and not being limited option, but there's a couple players that I think seems to be the forgotten soldiers of Jamaican football. In even the fact, I think you have a Trevante Stewart right now who plays in the Serbian top league. He's played 90% of the games. I think he's been 24 games, 7 goals, 3 assists. That's 10 goal contribution. I haven't really seen him gotten a call up. I think there was a situation surrounding him around about the same time with Leon Bailey. I would like to know if he's been looked at or been considered in future, and as well as the young man Shakwani Satchwell, who is also 20 years old, can play the position of centre forward, left winger, second striker.
Yeah, we're monitoring all the players around Jervis, Serbia, Israel, as you say, Jevan East. We know well.
Jevan East.
Yeah, we're monitoring them all. We know them all, and through the facility of Y Scout, we're very fortunate that we can see any player around the world. So yeah, and we're getting names every day. So if you've got names, mention them to Simon. We certainly check everybody out.
Yes, so as I said, though, Coach, that's one thing in terms of, as I said, the two players that I had mentioned, but even the other player, Junior Flemings, who was in the UAE, and I think he scored 7 goals in 15 appearances as well. So I just wanted to know, in essence, if sometimes maybe the distance or anything, but especially for this window, if those players don't get the opportunity right now, when it comes down to World Cup qualification, where it gets a little bit more serious, would they also still be in consideration, given the fact that, as I said, they are playing in leagues that have the possibility of them competing in the Champions League, in Trevante Stewart especially, as he's in the championship round now with his team?
Yeah, as I said before, any players that might be in the far corners, playing in countries that are not well known to us, then please let us know. But we're certainly, through Y Scout, we're onto that, through people, through our scouts, our network. We get players, I can play for Jamaica coming in, please give us a trial, come watch me. We've got that many. I think now is the time where we have to have a little bit of a laser focus. We were quite broad in terms of our recruitment and looking at players before the new year. In World Cup year, now we need to be laser focused. And really, we've got a good squad, a good foundation of the squad. And really, anybody who can improve that, yeah, the door is never closed.
Thank you very much, CC. Thank you very much, members of the media, for being present this morning. It's greatly appreciated. The recording will go out quite shortly, and we look forward to seeing you all quite soon. So have a pleasant rest of the day and weekend ahead, and stay tuned for further updates as well. Thank you.
All right, so that is the press conference in its entirety. Of course, we have been pausing and having a discussion in between all of this stuff. So definitely pretty much discuss most of what I wanted to discuss. That last final one there that he was answering, you would have heard him mentioning that, hey, it's time to get a bit more focused in the selection now. They did a lot of experimentation in the last year, but now is the time when they need to start to hone in on these squads. And it just begs the question that if this is an example of honing in and getting laser focused, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is what a laser focused 23 players for Jamaica looks like, then I don't know. I don't know if we're on the right track right now. There are other players out there playing at levels that are good enough, I would think, to represent Jamaica. Players that have represented Jamaica before. I see Gangs talking, not understanding why East and Fleming's names coming up, but I think those names are coming up, Gangs talking, because they're actually doing things, playing their football around the world. And at some point, we have to understand that these people didn't, lose their passports or not, lose their Jamaicanness. They're still Jamaicans and they're actually doing something. The man just said, the aim is to be picking players that are doing things at their clubs. And I don't know. I just don't see where some of these selections are actually fitting in with that statement that he made, So yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. When you hear CC call Satchwell's name at this time, you know that he's out of touch. It is either Dixon, Richards, or Satchwell who get the future potential place. Okay. So if it's from those three, I guess Slovenian second division at the professional top level is lower than Dixon's developmental league that he's starring up, or the competitions that Dixon is playing. I don't know. I guess you'd have to just kind of do a analysis and see which one is really playing at a higher level. I mean, Dixon for the most part is playing, kids his age, 21 and under. I think at the most they'll be 20, no more than 23. And they can feel a few older players as well, typically, but not that many. Maybe no more than 3 at a time. So he's playing for the most part, players getting started in their careers. Whereas I'm pretty sure there's no age cap in the Slovenian second division. So I don't know. I mean, if that's how it is for real, Guru, and they can only pick one of these 3, the fact that Satchwell has never been picked yet just goes to show that we make statements sometimes as the coaching staff that sounds good in an answer, but then when you look at the evidence, you can't back it up. Because how is Satchwell not picked yet then? If this is true, that these 3 are the so-called future potential placement picks and you're going to get 1 in each squad, why hasn't Satchwell seen a squad? He's been doing more than the other 2 at a higher level of competition in terms of the age group. Yeah, Bennett is gone to what is it? Is it it's the Middle East somewhere, is it? Coach not doing nothing. Where's the Bennett Las Vegas striker? Yeah, I'm gone from Las Vegas, but yeah, this squad is worse than his last squad. Yeah, I think you might be right with that, Well, yes, people. So drop in the questions if you don't have any more, but if not, we're going to close it off for this segment. We basically just took the time to discuss the press conference today in full, some of the things we heard. Tried to keep it balanced, had some positives that I heard, I must say the mentioning of Ian Campbell and Devon Porter I wasn't expecting. So I'm glad that, they are working in tandem with the JFF. That is wonderful news. That has kind of officially been put into place. Long overdue, to be honest. We heard that Richard Hartis has gone to Besiktas with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but he's now just the goalkeeper coach. And he still is willing to help us qualify for the Gold Cup and also help us try to qualify for the World Cup as the goalkeeper coach. The new assistant coach in his role is Paul Simpson, who was a member of the England U20 World Cup staff that won in 2017. Very experienced coach as well, dating all the way back to a League Two title in I think it was 2005 or so for Carlisle United. So he has been doing this thing for a long time. He's a UEFA Pro License coach, so has the qualification. So let's see what he can bring to the table. He said that he would have seen him recently, so I guess he was around for the Trinidad matches. I don't think he would have been there prior to that, but I could be wrong. So we heard about that news, and then some of the negatives. I thought some of the dismissive nature of some of the answers, even though some in the comment section agreed, just because for whatever reason they just disagree with it. But I think I disagree with what Guru's take was about the professionalism factor, and when a question doesn't make sense, you just skip over it or whatever. I think there's a way to keep it professional. You can answer a question that you don't seem to like very much. You can still answer it in a professional manner, but it is what it is. I think Trevor Sinclair, was he around for these Trinidad games as well? I don't remember if he was on the bench for those games or not. But I don't think Trevor Sinclair would have been troubled because, he's always had an assistant, 2 assistants basically. Hartis was probably the lead assistant at one point. That has now changed to be Paul Simpson. But Trevor Sinclair, I think, is still involved, I think. No, there were no Ian Frey shouts. I basically took it as in the press conference before the game, he mentioned that he's trying to focus on his club career in terms of just staying fit for Inter Miami and things of that nature. So I didn't really press on the point of Ian Frey in this press conference. Others might say, you know, who cares what he's saying publicly? Still go out and put it out there that you'd like to select him, even select him and see what happens, you know. But you know, if he's putting that out there in the public, he seems like a pretty genuine guy in terms of his interaction with the media and stuff. So if that's what he's saying, he probably is really focused on that right now and doesn't really want to take up the international stuff on his head until he can really stay fit for an extended period of time. He's had some bad injuries, man. Sometimes it isn't about the leagues. Dixon is beyond his league. He's more football mature than Satchwell right now. You have to be able to watch both. Dixon's movement is superior and scores more. Yeah, but I think when I just want to see Kahim doing it at his team where he's at, you know, because League One, I would think, would be a league that he could play in, but for whatever reason, he's not getting a chance. I know Charlton's form has been excellent over the past few months, so maybe they just don't want to mess up a good thing they have going on. But put it this way, Guru, if he can dominate how he is at the level he's playing and the leagues he's playing in now, when would they ever call him to the first team? This man is scoring hat tricks left, right, and center and still can't get in the first team. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Dixon is faster than Satchwell. So if that's what you mean by movement, yes. But I don't think Satchwell is a terrible mover in terms of his attacking movement. I think he's very intelligent in his movement, actually. So again, sometimes I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't say that one of Satchwell's issues is his movement, you know. Frey stock dropped after the series. He looked average. I think some aspects he looked susceptible to pace on the wing. I would like to think he'd be better suited playing centrally, whether it's in midfield or centre back, to be honest. I know at right back is kind of the job he's doing at Inter Miami right now, but I just feel like that's really the only thing I saw that was an issue for me. When he's out there on an island and he's going against pace, he can find it very difficult. But other than that, I think he might have been guilty of overplaying at times in terms of having a simpler option and trying to play that killer pass. That's really the only time I saw him lose the ball, when he tried to break the lines when maybe he didn't necessarily need to at the time. But whenever he played within himself, ball retention, as Brando said, was top. Not afraid to collect the ball under pressure as well, which I thought wasn't noted by many fans that were watching. They were just glued in on, Overy twisting him up a few times. And in the first leg of the first match, him definitely struggling with the pace of Richter's and Ainsworth down that flank. So, yeah, I would say he was a bit better than average, to be honest. Wasn't incredible, wasn't excellent, wasn't, I'm not going to lie and tell you that, but I don't think it was so bad. I don't think it was so bad per se. But I don't think you're saying that either. You said he looked average, so you're not saying he was bad either. Big up, know yourself. Jason Gooner, my bro, you watch football. Dixon is not anywhere close to Charlton attacking players, and they're the same age group. Yeah, I'm just making the point, Chris Smith, that he's performing at the level he's at, and he still can't get a look. It doesn't work like that, Jason. Clubs develop players at a certain pace. There are young players ahead of Dixon in his position at Charlton. Be patient. All right, Guru, I will be patient, my brother. I will be patient. And you are correct. I do know that those players ahead of him are actually young and in the same position too. So yeah, they went into a situation knowing that, and I would think that his representatives would have thought by now that he would have forced his way in there, but it hasn't come to fruition yet, and patience is the order of the day. But he doesn't need to be patient with the national team though, because as you said, there's a future place in the team, and you think that Satchwell isn't there, but he is, and Whisper is injured right now, so I guess his spot is cemented. You know what I mean? Jason, what do this say to man like Karoy, who started in the Charlton team and Dixon can't see the bench? I'm not sure what it says. I guess he doesn't play the same position, so I guess it don't say much, but still, it's a bit strange. It's a bit strange. Why call up Warner Brown when we have Trevante Stewart on fire in Serbia? I don't know the answer to that question. It's a valid question though, one that I would love to get a straight answer about. Big up one go on, bro. You reached the end of the show, bro. But for lock it off, you know. First responder being extra dramatic here, saying we're losing to St. Vincent. I don't know, first responder. It's possible, but I don't know. That's up here. Frey will get eaten up by pace. He's at the back of a long line at right back. Yeah, look, again, I think he'd be more effective centrally, with that centre back or in the central defensive midfield area. I think that is something that he would be susceptible in CONCACAF, especially is pace on the flanks if he's on an island. And you know that we tend to pick attacking players that don't necessarily, sometimes they leave their right back and left back on an island. So if he does play for Jamaica at one point, it might cause some issues, Guru. So I would agree with you there. But I do feel like he's better than some of the right backs we have called recently that are playing in the same league as him, if you ask me. Because even though they don't struggle as much with pace, they have a tendency to just give the ball away. So we need to strike a balance here. I think Frey have a high ceiling as a footballing centre-back. Yeah, I agree. I think centre-back will be where he ends up. I just don't think... I think right-back is just an area he's filling for Miami. And I think Mascherano and the team itself just rate the players. So they're like, look, he can play a lot of positions. Let's just play him wherever we need him right now. If they have issues in central midfield throughout the season, he'll probably move there, So, yeah. That is the question. Gangstalking saying, don't see him as a right back, none at all. Fear. He can do a job at right back, but for me, he can potentially go to the highest level as a centre back if he keeps developing. As a right back in a team that turns into a 3 with the ball can work. And there you go. And I think with Miami, that's kind of what it is, Alba has much more freedom than him. So a lot of times it is that back 3 shape when Alba is really pushed up. So I think that's why they kind of do it the way they do. And Miami typically is a team that's going to have the ball. So their posture really is a back 3 a lot of the time when they're in possession, which they are a lot of the time because they are a possession team. Hope something happened and Ravel get a call. I'll be praying, want to see him and Hayden and Maggie together. But centre back is his best position. For me, I agree there. 1-1. Guru, you worry about man stock price drop. We should look at the quality to replace players in the squad. All right, people, listen, we could continue the conversation forever because we all love talking about the football. But I need to take a break before I bring you guys, all my EPL faithful. I will be back tonight, people. Yes, Jason Gooner bleaching on the internet tonight. But we do have to get the content out there. We have been doing every week. Why stop now? It is the preview show for the EPL. We'll also drop a bonus game in there. We'll also do the prediction for the EFL Cup, Carabao Cup final with Newcastle and Liverpool. So yeah, we'll have predictions for that as well in the mix of the weekly standings, because there's going to be, I think, 2 less fixtures this week. So we'll make that game make a 9th and we'll call it a week. Go ahead and pick the games. Hopefully you pick well, you'll get the champion for the week. If not, last place, you'll be referred to as the donkey of the week for the week, people. Yeah, it's rough, I know, but it is what it is. But anyway, everybody that tuned in, all the people that have checked in and made their voice heard in the comment section, we really greatly do appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have thumbed up the like button and we've gotten to our target. I set a target of 100 likes on the video. Don't know if we'll get there, but I think we definitely had enough viewers to even request that type of number. So let's see. All right, so we are really about halfway there, not doing good enough. So people, please, on the way out, please do remember, smash that like button, share, and subscribe as well. But of course, if you're leaving a comment, you would have subscribed already. So thanks to all of those who have done so already. The channel keeps growing and we really do appreciate it. I'm going to try to get more and more consistent, trying to find my way in this YouTube space. But people know that when they come here, they're going to be able to have their voices heard, because I don't really discriminate on people talking. I try to keep a level-headed approach if I can. Sometimes I might get emotional on some things, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, I try to keep my balance at all times, and people know that, it's going to be a fair discussion for the most part. I don't really think that I can just be myself and try to look at it from my perspective and give you guys my thoughts. And hopefully you guys have some thoughts of your own, and I will accept those, listen to them, and we'll have a discussion. That is really what it's all about, people. There are shows for analysts, there are shows for picking games. This show was literally about breaking down the press conference, talking about the answers, talking about the questions, and trying to understand why some of the decisions that were made were made. As I said, we're going to have a show dedicated to the players in the squad, actually going through each player, seeing what they have been doing for the season. And then also, of course, anytime there's a squad picked, we have the what ifs. So we'll have a list of what ifs that we can look at as well and try to figure out how close they would have been to this squad, or if it's time to just say, hey, maybe these players are not going to be picked by this current coach. All right, people. So big up and thanks again for all the support on the stream. We really do appreciate it. On the way out, please do smash that like button. And I am Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV, and this has been Reasoning Time episode 8, the Gold Cup Prelim Squad press conference show. Big up on yourselves again, people. Thanks so much for the support. And until about an hour or so, all my EPL viewers, tune in. We'll change jerseys, get into EPL mode, and we'll drop the content for you guys there. So all my prediction picks, people, don't worry, we are returning very soon to drop the EPL preview show, people. Right now, I have it scheduled for about an hour from now. That should be about right. I should have enough time to deal with what I have to deal with in the meantime. So yeah, until you see me again, people, big up on yourselves. Remember, you can support the channel by becoming a member. It is $1.99 to join. Just hit that join button on your screen. It's also in the description on the Jason Gooner TV YouTube page. You can find it there. Also, you can leave your support in the form of a super chat as well. I'm about to lock off now, but if you don't get time to do it now, join the EPL show, people, and show your support in that way. But the easiest way, like. So please do on the way out, smash the like button. And thanks again to everybody that took part today in the conversation. You guys are the reason why we forward to discuss these things. Without you guys, it's a very boring show. So big up and thanks again for the support, people. And until about an hour's time, big up on yourself. Jason Gooner TV, we out.